I am Devrat Tiwari and I will be guiding you in probably solving the first Rubik cube of your life. People usually call it a bit mind tricky puzzle because as far as the solution of the Rubik cube is concerned, they are usually able to make up to 3 to 4 faces or even more, but at the end they just find themselves unable to execute the cube as a whole. I mean solving each and every face of the cube with the same color. It means each face is having same number, same colors, and they just get freaked out and they just give up, and they assume that this puzzle is almost an impossible one. But for them, I would rather say that every problem has a specific approach to the solution. I mean, if you are going on the right path, then only you will be able to get to the solution. Otherwise, you might be moving throughout the things, but you are not able to come to the solution, or you might come to the solution with a huge delay. Anyways, you are not the first person who has come here to seek solution for the same, but I would assure you that although it is not quite easy to understand, but the method which I will be teaching you in this video will be far more simple and completely understandable as far as the other complex solutions that has been available over the internet is concerned. So this was all I would like to mention you. I would suggest you to obey on it so as to solve this puzzle more efficiently and more effectively. So that's all from the introduction part. Let's see how it goes. Before we actually move towards solving the whole cube, let us try to understand the basic structure of the cube. The purpose of me adding this part in the video was to explain you the basic structure of the cube, which will help you to have a better understanding of the procedures which I will be using throughout this video. So anyways, this is how a standard 3x3 unsolved Rubik cube looks like. So which contains 6 different faces in it, and if you examine it more carefully, then you will notice that a cube is made up of 3 different kinds of pieces. A kind is classified on the basis of count of colors that a specific piece is having. For example, consider this piece, as this piece contains 3 different colors in it and is placed at the corner of the cube and can be moved among 8 different locations due to the fact that a cube has 8 different corners. So this piece is named as a corner piece. Similarly, we can derive for the piece which is lying on the edge of the cube. For example, this edge piece contains 2 different colors in it and can be moved among 12 different locations over the cube, and thus it is known as the edge piece. And last but not the least, we have a centerpiece with us that which is present only one in each face of the cube. The most important point which we can derive out from this structured part of the video is that the one which is having the center color as the specific color will be the face of the cube. So we can derive it out once that which color should be placed on the which face. So this is how it goes, and let us try to understand the basic procedures, the basic notations, and then later we should move towards actually solving the whole cube. So once we have clearly understood the concept of structures, the next step is to understand the notations. Instead of directly learning things with the help of moves itself, we will just assign some sort of symbols, general symbols to each the moves that I will be using throughout this video. That will help you out to understand the things in a better way, and also help me to write algorithms in the more readable way, and that will be easy to remember as far as the learning things with the help of moves is concerned. Anyways, if the cube is phased like this, then yeah, one more thing I wanted to add, that my every move will be a 90-degree rotation, and the rotation could be either wise, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So in case of anti-clockwise only, each move will be suffixed with the help of an I symbol. So that's all for the notation, and Now as you can see, this is the front face, this is the R face, that is right face, this is F face, this is left face, this is up face, this is down face, and this is back face. In case of clockwise rotation, this is denoted with the help of F, and in case of anti-clockwise rotation, this will be denoted with the help of Fi. So that's quite simple. And in case of right, for example, that is right, and that is R, that is denoted with the help of R, and that is Ri. Similarly, that is L, this is Li. So that's all with the help of notations, and the things which I have mentioned in the description will also help you out to understand the things in a more better way. So let us scramble the cube and try to learn the things in a more better way. So finally we have a scrambled cube with us. The first approach to solve the scrambled cube is to look for a centerpiece from where to begin solving the whole cube. The choice of preference should be solely based on the favoritism. I mean, any color you can choose among the 6 faces and start solving the whole cube. Now once you have selected the centerpiece, the next step is to make a cross here. Cross in the sense solving each point of the edge pieces with the green, but provided one more case that it should be oriented correctly. Now you must be doubting that what is exactly the orientation. So I have kept a case for making you more clear to understand that if you consider this, you might be considering that this one is a solved one, but I would rather say that this is an unsolved piece, because this is, although this is a good piece, means this is covering a green one, but this is not oriented correctly. So now I can say that this piece is an oriented one. So similarly, we will just try to locate it out through whole cube and try to make a cross in the similar way. So first of all, we will look, for example, we will just look for a green yellow. So we will just locate out throughout the cube that where exactly the green and yellow edge piece is. Here we have got that one. So for exactly the concept of putting this here is we'll just try to put everything, I mean the piece which we want to locate it out, we'll just try to put it on the bottom layer of the cube and then perform some sort of algorithms or sort of moves to make it into the exact needed place. So for example, in the case of green and yellow piece, we'll just try to locate it out as it is already in the bottom layer of the cube. So we will just put it into the place into the exactly the bottom of the piece, bottom of the edge piece, to where it is needed to be put. So once we have put this into the bottom layer of the face, then we'll just perform a move F2. This will orient the piece in a correct order. So once we have solved the two pieces, we will also try to look some sort of pieces. For example, this one, this is a green and orange piece, this one is a green and orange piece, this needs to be go there. So in this case, we will just try to put it out in the bottom layer of the cube, and then performing the cube in this way, just putting in the bottom layer of the cube, and then performing the move F2, and this will orient it correctly. There is one special case that you might be encountering, I'm sure you will encounter while making the cross. That case is suppose in the case of solving the green and white edge piece. So we'll try to locate the green and white edge piece. Here it is, as you can see, and as per our concept, we will just try to put it in the bottom layer of the cube, and now performing the move F2, and it is oriented correctly. But wait, it is not oriented correctly, although it is in its correct position. As it needs to be flipped off. So in this case, here comes our first algorithm, that is just putting the cube in this way only, means facing frontwards. We will perform the algorithm Fi up, L inverted, up inverted. So in this way we have oriented this piece correctly. And one more thing, we have not messed it up other pieces. So once we are done with the green cross, I mean once the green edge pieces have been correctly oriented, the next step is to orient the four green corners. And the method is quite similar like what we exactly did in case of solving the green cross, where we just tried to locate out the piece which we have to orient it correctly, and then just put it into the bottom layer of the cube, and then just perform move in order to get back to its actual position and checked whether it is oriented correctly or not. In case if it is not oriented correctly, then we just tried an algorithmic move to make it an oriented one. So a similar kind of approach we are going to use in case of solving the green corners also. Well, although there are several other easy ways in order to solve the green corners, but I would like you to discover by yourself while practicing alone. So that will help you out to have a better understanding of the cube solution. So let us start solving the corners of the cube in the standard way. Consider this point, I mean this corner. The correct needed piece is green, yellow and red piece. Now we just try to locate out whether exactly where is the this piece. So we have found out this piece, that green, red and yellow piece. Now what we have to do, just like the way we have done in the case of solving the green cross, we just put it exactly in the bottom layer of the place where we have to put it into the top layer. So now there is a twist that I mean there is not a twist, there is a requirement that we don't have to mess all the four green edges which have already been done. So for solving this, there is a simple two-step move which can be done with a little bit of practice, which can be understood with a little bit of practice, and that is solely based on your understanding of the cube. So I am doing it by myself, and I am showing you one example. See, I have put this in the place, but I have messed this edge piece like this. This is now a red blue piece. So I just put it away from the axis and then just put it back into its actual position. Then put it just back to its actual position and make it an oriented one. So I have not messed it up and put it exactly in the correct place. So taking one more example, suppose we need this piece. This piece is a green, red and white one, and the piece which we are needing is exactly in the bottom layer of the cube. So we just try to put it, so we have not messed it up, and just put the piece in the top layer of the cube. Now as this is in the correct place, but this is not an oriented one, so we just try our algorithmic move. The algorithmic move is a magic move. Exactly, this will use either 2 move or 4 moves, and this will orient it correctly. That is, this goes this way, taking this into the frontwards, and start the algorithm. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down. So see, this is already oriented correctly. So this is the way thing goes like this, and in this way you can solve all the four green corners. So once we are done with the green corners and the green cross, the cube should look like this. As you can see, this cube does not only contains the all the green colors in one face itself, but also orients the other faces of the cube that contains the green piece along with it. So we can call it the first face of the cube as solved one, along with the correctly oriented pieces. So once we can declare it as a solved one, we just put it into the bottom, and now our next aim is to solve all the four edge pieces that are present in the middle level layers. So for solving this, we need one of the two swapping algorithm. The either direction means we just what exactly we will do, we will just try to swap this unsolved piece with the actually needed piece that is present in the top level layer of the cube. So for this, for example, let's take an example of this piece. For example, this piece, as you can see, this is a blue and yellow piece, which is not an exact piece which is needed here. The correctly needed piece is yellow and red piece. So we will just try to locate out on the top level edge, top level layer, that where exactly is the green that yellow and red piece is located. So as you can see, this piece is located here only. So what we will do, we will just try to put this in the place and perform the algorithm. That is, as you can see that we have to swap this piece with this piece, and the piece will go onto the left. So putting in the way like means keeping the face in the frontwards, we perform the algorithm ui li u l u f ui fi. So this will just swap the pieces along with this, and this piece is solved. There is one more case where we need swapping in the either ways, means for example, consider this one. This piece is a red blue piece, and we need a yellow and orange piece which is present here. So this piece needs to go there. So we just try algorithm that goes like this way: u r u i r i u i f i u f. So one important thing to note in this two algorithms is that both are symmetric to each other. I mean, both are opposite to each other. You can just write it down and just you can compare it out, so that you can derive it. Knowledge that I have imparted you till now will help your cube to look like this, where you have solved the two layers of the cube while the third layer of the cube still remains an unsolved one. Anyways, which you will be solving very soon within a couple of minutes of learning. But because of the fact that the method which I will be using to solve the top layer of the cube, the last layer of the cube will be the same like what we did in the case of solving the first layer of the cube, where we just tried to solve the green cross first. I mean, orienting all the four green edge pieces, then oriented all the four green corners in order to solve the first face of the cube. So first face of the cube will had solved the first layer of the cube actually. So once we have solved the blue face of the cube, this will eventually solve all the pieces of the cube and eventually solve the cube as a whole. So for solving this, anyways, once you have solved all the four middle edge pieces, the cube should look like this, or should look like this, or should look like this. As you can see a blue dot here. you can see an inverted L signature here, or you can see a vertical bar here. Don't worry, in either of the three cases that you encounter while once you have solved the middle level edges, we have to use the same algorithm which we have to repeat more than one times to orient all the four uh, edge pieces to get back to its places. So let us take the worst case, that is a blue dot. See, this one is the blue dot. This is the case where we just the algorithm goes like this way, where taking any face as front, the algorithm goes like this: F R U R I U I F I. So once you have performed this move, you have got an L signature, inverted L signature, which I was talking a while back. So once you have got this an inverted L sign, then taking this as a frontward way and perform the same algorithm which we have done a while back in the same way, and let us see what we get. F R U R I U I and F I. So once we have done this, we just got a vertical bar here, and once we have got this vertical bar, we just repeat the same algorithm, putting like in this way, either of the this way, or you can take like this way. So in either of the sides, we just repeat the same algorithm which we did two times back. So that goes this way: F R U R I U I and finally F I. So once you have done this algorithm, then you just observe that you have put all the blue pieces in its place. So after we are done with the blue cross at the top layer of the cube, the next step is to orient all the four blue edges at the top layer of the cube. For this, yeah, one more important thing to note, that it is not possible to orient each edge pieces individually, because this will mess up the whole cube, especially the bottom layer of the cube. So this is the most important thing which should be kept in mind while solving the while orienting the top layer of the cube edge pieces. Once you have reached to this position, you will be encountering with one of the three positions which I will just show right now. So one case is your two adjacent pieces, means the two adjacent edge pieces. As you can see, two adjacent edge pieces will be solved and rest of the two cubes will be unsolved. Second case is the first in the front and the back piece will be solved and the rest two piece will be unsolved. And the third case, the whole four pieces are not solved. So in this case, you just have to orient one piece back to its place, no matter whether other pieces have been correctly oriented or not. So here comes our first move. Yeah, there is one more case where you have been oriented all the four cases, and that is the best case, and where this algorithm need not to be put, need not to be used actually. So in this case, taking the worst case here, where we have a single edge piece solved. So we have our algorithm which goes like this way, taking this cube in the frontwards, means facing the solution solved part in the front face, and performing the algorithm R U R I U R U to R I. So this will just do some changes in the cube. After this, you might get this one where you just have two adjacent edge pieces solved, or you get this one, or you don't have any, means you don't feel like anything has been changed. So in case anything does not seems to be changed, so just you have to perform the same algorithm again. uh, RU RIU RU2 RI. So in this case, as you can see, you have solved all the four edge pieces, sorry. So in this way you have oriented all the four pieces back to its places. Taking this example, if you encounter this position where you have means you have only the two adjacent pieces solved, so you just have to keep one piece, one edge piece, one face in the right side and the other solved face in the back face, and just perform the same move which we have done with this cube also. So the algorithm goes this way: R U R I U R U2 RI, and just moving a bit now, and the whole 4 cube gets solved. The third case where you have two opposite edge pieces are solved. So in this case the algorithm goes this way, taking the pieces, means taking the cube like this and then performing the move R U R I U R U2 R I. So this will just actually orient the two adjacent pieces of the cube, while the rest of the two pieces remains unsolved. So this is the way, so you can get to the solution. Finally you will get this. So this was all about orienting the edge pieces of the top layer of the cube. So now let us move towards the solution of the last four corners of the cube. Finally we have reached to a stage where we have solved all the four blue edge pieces, that is we have made a blue cross here. Now the four blue corners are the only pieces that remains unsolved one. So for solving this, the algorithm which I will be using in this step will not actually orients all the pieces back to its original places, but it actually aligns all the pieces to its correct places. Now you must be wondering that what is the thin line difference between alignment and the orientation. So I have just taken a reference to explain you in a more better way. So just take a reference of this corner piece where as you can see, the needed piece at this corner should be blue, red and yellow, and the piece which is already present here is blue, red and yellow. So this piece is exactly needed here, but actually it is not oriented as it needs to be flipped off. So we can call it as an aligned one but not an oriented one. So in this way we just the algorithm which I will be imparting you now will actually orient all the four pieces back to its actual places. So once you have solved all the four blue edge pieces, then you must be means you must encounter with one of the two positions. Means one case is you have at least one piece aligned one, or you have the other case that you don't have any of the pieces which is aligned. So in either of the case we will perform the same algorithm, and the algorithm is quite simple, which I will give you like a capsule, not like the way which we have learned the algorithm in the whole video. So the algorithm goes this way. Let us take the worst case where we have we don't have any of the corner pieces solved one. So just take any of the reference and just there is no any foundation to take anything as a friend. So just start from anywhere, and the algorithm goes like this: up, right one away from you, up inverted, left one away from you, up, right one towards you, up inverted, right left one towards you. So in this way it will actually you just look through. After this step you just look throughout the cube that whether you have solved any of the piece or not. So at least you will have a piece solved, this piece. this piece. As you can see, this piece is actually aligned one, so you just have to take it as a reference. For example, this one should be placed in the right top of the cube facing frontwards, and then perform the same algorithm which I have just done a while back. Up, away from you, up, inverted, away from you, up, towards you, up, inverted, towards you, and this will align all the four pieces back to its actual position. Take this reference also. We have solved one piece, as this piece is already solved, so we just perform the same algorithm which we have done. This will align all the four pieces back to its actual position. So you have finally you have aligned all the four pieces back to its actual position. Now the next step is to place, means orient all the four pieces back to its correct position. So for this we have a very simple algorithm, a magic algorithm we can say, which does not need to be taken quite really care of. So we just have to take any of the corner as a reference and then just perform the algorithm, this algorithm which we have used earlier also, and the algorithm goes this way: right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down. So once you have repeated this algorithm for the more than one times, then you have to repeat all this and then just try to put the blue corner pieces, mean the blue face at the top layer of the cube. And you must notice that you have messed up all the cube, means all the cube which you have made, but don't worry, you the all this is, as I repeated, that this algorithm is a magic one. So this once you have solved all the four corner pieces, the whole piece, the whole cube structure will get back to its actual place. So now once you have solved this blue piece, you just have to turn just a little bit around and then just put another piece back to its this buffer piece, and now repeat the algorithm again: right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down, right inverted, down inverted, right, down. Now we have done this also, so just turn again: right inverted, down inverted, right, down. So we have got this one also. Now last corner piece, and just a little bit of rotation, and you have solved your first cube.